You probably didn't expect to hear that. In a world that glamorizes hustle, shiny lifestyles, and viral wins, calling success boring sounds almost disrespectful. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Real success, the kind that lasts, isn't found in highlight reels or adrenaline rushes. It's not built through inspiration alone. It's built through routine, through repetition, through quiet, unremarkable effort, day after day. And yes, that can be boring. But before you scroll away or look for the next motivational spike, consider this. The people who actually succeed are the ones who understand the power of boring. The people who win aren't always the most excited or the most passionate. That sense of arrival, that moment when the struggle pays off. They're the ones who can stay focused when the excitement fades. They show up when no one's clapping. They chase the peak, but they ignore the process. They want the outcome, but not the input. They want success, but they expect it to feel exciting every step of the way. The entrepreneur who grows a profitable business doesn't do it through a single genius idea or a burst of productivity. They study even when they don't feel like it. They make learning a habit, not a mood. They do it by showing up every day, writing emails, fixing systems, handling logistics, making small decisions that seem unremarkable over and over until the momentum becomes unstoppable. They do what needs to be done, not because it's fun, but because it's necessary. Today, we're talking about why success is boring, why that's actually a good thing, and why you need it more than ever. Things that don't depend on your feelings. When you know what needs to be done each day, you spend less time deciding and more time doing. That momentum compounds, and over weeks, months, years, it separates the consistent from the inconsistent, the professional from the amateur. Let's dig into the truth that very few talk about, but every high achiever lives by. They've stopped chasing novelty and started respecting consistency. They know that real growth isn't about intensity once in a while, it's about showing up regularly. We all want results, whether it's in business, health, relationships, or creative goals. We crave the moment where things finally click. But here's where most people go wrong. We want new challenges, new tools, new strategies. But jumping from one thing to the next only gives you surface-level progress. You become good at starting things but terrible at finishing them. It won't. The process of getting better at anything, truly better, is largely unglamorous. Think of a top athlete. What do you imagine? Gold medals, championship wins, fame. But most of their life, it's training, it's drills, it's workouts that feel the same as yesterday. It's doing the same movements, eating the same meals, following the same schedule. It's not exciting, it's not flashy, but it works. The same principle applies to everything. The student who tops the class, they're not superhuman. They've just built a system. They review consistently. Success looks dramatic in hindsight, but in real time, it's often dull. So why does boring work so well? Because boring is sustainable. Think about motivation. It's amazing when it's there, but it disappears fast. What you need is something more reliable. Systems, habits, routines. Boring routines eliminate the guesswork. There's a reason elite performers in any field embrace routine. Now here's where it gets tricky. Most of us are addicted to excitement. We want everything to feel stimulating. We get bored fast. Success demands that you do fewer things, more deeply, and more consistently. The boring parts, those repetitive actions, they are the training ground for mastery. Let's take content creation as an example. Someone might start a YouTube channel and post a few videos. When they don't blow up, they get frustrated, they lose interest, they stop. But the successful creator, they post hundreds of videos, most get average views. Chances are, they have incredibly boring routines. They wake up at the same time, they follow strict calendars, they automate their decisions. They don't chase excitement, they engineer consistency. Some flop, but slowly, they improve. Their message sharpens, their audience grows. And one day, instead of seeing it as a sign of stagnation, view it as a signal that you're doing something that matters enough to repeat. Build the habits so that inspiration has somewhere to find you, something that deserves your attention, even when the excitement fades. Did you do the work? Did you stick to the plan? That's where the wins live. One more rep, one more email, one more page. Over time, that adds up. That channel becomes their full-time career. They're the ones who can handle the monotony of excellence. They know that success isn't one giant leap. It's 1,000 small steps in the same direction. Was it exciting every day? Of course not. Variety has its place. Rest is important. Inspiration is valuable. But these things support your routine. They don't replace it, not even close. But when you look back, you'll see that those quiet, steady days were the backbone of your breakthrough. When the learning curve flattens out, when you've done something enough that it no longer excites you, that's when the real test begins. Even when it's dull, especially when it's dull. But if you can't handle the boredom of consistent execution, none of it will matter. That's when most people quit. But that's also where the results begin to stack up. Once set your path, Accept the boring and show up. To one great presentation won't build your career. One healthy meal won't change your body. One moment of brilliance won't sustain a business. Commit to a routine that includes eating the same types of meals and doing similar workouts week after week. But that's exactly what gets results. Not a 2-week challenge, not a crash diet. Consistent, steady effort. But it was deliberate, and it worked. Or let's talk about fitness. Everyone wants to be in shape. We need to stop confusing boredom with failure. Boredom is a sign that you're moving past novelty and into mastery. Think of the most successful people you know or know of. It's not because they're boring people. It's because they understand that success comes from making a few important things automatic. Now here's something else you need to know. The world will reward you for what you do consistently, not for what you do occasionally. Quite often, and reliability is powerful, feels boring. Your occasional effort might be impressive, but your consistent effort is what builds reputation, trust, and momentum. It's not about intensity, it's about frequency. And frequency, but boring is reliable. So how do you lean into the boring side of success without burning out? Start with this. Reframe how you see boredom. Create systems that reduce friction. If you want to write more, set up a time and place where writing happens daily. Don't wait for inspiration. Track your progress, not your feelings. Some days will feel great, others won't. But the real measure is whether you showed up. Respect small gains. Most success doesn't come from massive breakthroughs. It comes from small, almost invisible progress made consistently. Detach from needing every moment to feel meaningful. Some of the most productive days won't feel amazing. Now, does that mean you should never try new things or seek joy? The people who last in any field aren't the ones who chase sparks. Here's the truth no one wants to hear. You can have the talent, you can have the vision, you can even have the perfect plan. The dream dies not from failure, but from neglect, from boredom, from quitting when things get repetitive. Don't let that be your story. Decide what matters. Because the secret is this: if you can endure the boredom, you can earn the breakthrough. Success is not for the most excited. It's for the most consistent, and consistency that's built in the boring. So yes, success is boring, but that's exactly why it works. And if you can embrace that, you're already ahead of most people. Keep going. That's how you win.